Cleaning stuff out in the hangar there to get ready to put the airplane in. I got stuff moved around. One of the things I did was get this saw carriage and this head end of this first track out on the trailer and got them out into the hangar where I could get to them. Then I got air into those tires. They were a little flat, like that thing's been sitting for a long time. Well, I just moved it over here to the shop where I can put it in the shop where it can work on it. I got to move a bunch of stuff out of there first, all those gas cans and diesel cans and stuff, and that engine, that Volkswagen engine for the mill. I'm gonna move it out and put it over in the hangar. Well, we got it moved out of there for now so my wife can put her car in the hangar and change her tires. We're gonna put the winter tires on. I guess it's winter time around here. We got snow and doesn't look like it's gonna leave anytime soon. And it got down to 20 degrees or so last night. The ground froze pretty hard. She could do that outside, but I got some heat in the hangar and easier to do it on the wood floor in the hangar. So anyway, I better go help her get that car in the hangar. I got the trailer with the lead, head, whatever track, and the carriage out of the hangar, brought it over here into the shop, at the outer section of the shop. I need to get it out of the way in the hangar so I can get ready to put the airplane in there. And I had to do some work on a couple other things first. So anyway, I got it out of the way while I had a chance, so the door open on the hangar. Got it over in here, and I've got it set right now with the blade out this way. I think I'm going to want to take this carriage apart some more, maybe even take it off this lead track to do some work on it, to check everything out, because there's a bunch of stuff on here that is just not working the way it's supposed to. So I want to go through this one piece at a time so that I can kind of figure it out, what's what on it and everything, and get it cleaned up, powder coated, whatever, and paint it up and make sure all the bearings and all of the pivot points and everything else work the way they're supposed to. So one of the things that came up, I had this over there in the hangar and dug it out, and I got the video on that where I went over it, looking at it, trying to figure out what's what on it, and I figured out that there's some parts and pieces that are not only not working the way they should, but there's some parts and pieces that were missing, and I need to figure out how to either fabricate or buy or whatever the parts and pieces that I need here. So anyway, I was thinking about that and figuring out how I'm going to work on that. One of the things that was missing is the fuel tank on there. And originally the fuel tank on there was a 2.5 gallon metal tank. I've got a dozen or more than a dozen plastic red 5-gallon fuel cans that I can stick on here, make a mount for, and stick on here somehow that would work perfectly fine for a fuel tank on here. But I kind of like the idea of keeping everything the way it's supposed to be, the way it's original. And a 5-gallon tank on there would work better because you could saw with it most of the day without running out of fuel. But it's got a setup on here for these 2.5 gallon cans. And this is what I assume from looking at the pictures and stuff is what the setup was for the cans. They kind of fit in here, and these fingers here, and there's a little tab here that on this shaft that raises up and the one of the edger blades up and down. Anyway, I figured that's where the tank sat, and that's what it looked like in the pictures. So anyway, looking in the pictures, they had these metal tanks, metal cans. They're basically a 2-gallon can, and I've got some of these that I bought new. I guess it's been several years ago now. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but I used them for kerosene and kerosene lamps and stuff. And they're Delphi, and you used to be able to buy those in the hardware store. Well, you can tell this is a newer model of it because it has a plastic handle on the bail here. Anyway, those are too small. Now these fingers were bent in pretty good there, so this would fit in there loosely, but a gallon can's not going to last long enough to prime the engine and get it warmed up. So anyway, I'm trying to figure out what to do, and kind of like to keep things as close to natural or close to the way they were designed as possible. But I knew they had these 2.5 gallon tanks, cans, and this company Delphi made them. There's a bunch of companies that made them. So anyway, I started looking for some of these 2.5 gallon cans, and I guess they're, I don't know if they still have them in the Mobile Dimension factory or not, but they were $150, probably more than that now, and that seems kind of high priced for a gas can. So anyway, I got to looking on eBay, and I found there's a whole bunch of them on there. There's a lot of them on there, but I didn't know whether they were going to work or not. So anyway, I ordered 2 different ones so far, and they came yesterday in the mail. And at first they didn't fit in there. They didn't fit at all. But I got to looking, and these fingers down here were bent in pretty good. They were bent, and I took a crescent wrench, a big crescent wrench, and pulled those out, and now these cans fit in there just perfectly. So I've got 2 of them so far. I might order a couple more for spares, because then these are galvanized cans, 2.5 gallon cans. And this one came, I think they're about 20, this one was about $20 and $12 for shipping, and I think they're both about the same. This one, the postmaster here in town put a hold on it, but the clerk gave it to us anyway. They said it leaked. Well, looking through all the packaging and stuff on it, it hadn't leaked. It was in a plastic bag and in a cardboard box, and there was no sign of it leaking. But it still has fuel fluid in it or something like that. The person I bought it from didn't clean it out at all, and then stuck it in the mail. And of course, I'm not supposed to do that. But anyway, those will fit nicely on there, just the way they're supposed to. I have to figure out a way to get the fuel line in there and get that set up. But that's one thing now that works. And with multiple cans here, one of the things, I don't know how long 2.5 gallons is going to run when you're milling heavy wood on there on this mill. But one of the things I can do if I have more than 1 can is I can just go ahead and keep the cans filled up and just swap the cans out instead of trying to dump them in there. But yeah, these cans, this one's got fresh cork. Somebody put fresh cork in the gasket, in the cap seal. Nowadays they all got rubber in them, but in the old days they had cork in them. The rubber is actually better, because the problem with the cork is that once you clamp down on it, it compresses, it stays compressed, and then it doesn't seal very good after that anymore. Yeah, cool. Anyway, one more thing that's the way it should be on here, be the way it should be. And I don't know when it's going to be that I'm going to get to this. I got too many other things to do before I can get to this. And winter's here, it might be too damn cold again out here to work on it, as it's got to be here in the outer shop. I can't get it in the inner shop. I don't have enough room in there to get it in to work on it. So I'll just have to see what I can do with it. It's here now where I can get to it anyway and try to figure it out. I still don't know what the hell I'm doing with it, but I'm figuring out a little bit at a time. But got some nice cans anyway. Like I said, you can look on eBay and find these. These are Delphi cans. There are other companies that made them. Pretty much the same thing. They're galvanized. They're all soldered together. That was what I used to use. I remember packing those things, 5 gallons full of diesel, up the hill when they'd run out of fuel in the cat when we were logging, and pack them a half a mile back into the woods, 1 in each arm. That was not too much fun. Anyway, I got cans for that now. That's good. Keep plugging away at this. Eventually I might get it running before I'm too old to use it.